past year, we've all gotten pretty used to AI that can chat with us, summarize things, and even create stuff. But what if all of that was just the warm-up act? Today, we're going to talk about the next giant leap, the big shift from AI that talks to AI that actually does. We're moving from just chatbots to something way more powerful, digital coworkers. So let's get right into it. You know, this quote just nails the fundamental change that's happening right now. The whole AI industry is pivoting. Honestly, the novelty of just having a conversation is kind of wearing off, and now the demand is for real, tangible action. It's not about just generating text anymore. It's about generating actual outcomes. I mean, for the past year, this has been the main playbook, right? The big goal was to connect a large language model to all our private company data. This is usually done with a technique called RAG, that's Retrieval-Augmented Generation, which basically lets the AI search and use your specific documents to answer questions. You could ask something in plain English and boom, get a smart answer back from your own data. It was definitely helpful, but it had a very clear limitation. And that is the crucial point. This first wave of generative AI, it's like having a brilliant consultant who can't use their hands. It can analyze your logs, it can draft a perfect email, or even write a Python script for you. But it leaves that last critical step, the actual doing part, up to you. It can't send the email, it can't run the script, it can't patch the server. It stops right there at the edge of action. So this is the big question we're all asking now. What happens when we finally break through that barrier? I mean, what does it really look like when an AI can not only come up with a plan, but actually carry it out? This is exactly where the concept of agentic AI enters the picture. So this brings us to the core shift in how we think about this stuff. We're moving from what we can call passive AI to active AI. And it might sound subtle, but it's a profound change in perspective. We're going from just creating content to actually completing tasks. This comparison really lays out the difference crystal clear. Okay, so on the left, you've got passive AI. It's all about processing information. It finds data, it boils it down for you, it creates new content from it. But look at the right side. Active AI is all about agency. It thinks strategically, it interacts with systems to execute actions, and its ultimate goal isn't just to give you an answer, but to actually solve your problem. Big difference. Okay, so how does this new active AI work? What's going on under the hood that lets it do so much more? Well, it all comes down to a totally different workflow. One that looks less like a simple question and answer, and a lot more like a continuous engineering loop. This is basically the agent's brain. Now, unlike a chatbot's straight line from a question to an answer, an agent operates in this constant circular reasoning loop. It starts with a plan, then it takes an action. Maybe it calls an API to get some information. Then it observes the result of that action and refines its plan based on that new info. And then, and only then, does it execute the next logical step. It's this cycle of trial, error, and correction, a lot like how a human engineer would tackle a tough problem. Now, to make that loop work, the agent needs tools. This isn't just about language. For instance, it can use a SQL tool to directly and safely query a live database to get the info it needs. It can use something called function calling to trigger actions in other apps, like say, updating a ticket in Jira or starting a build in Jenkins. And this is super critical, it uses identity propagation. That just means it inherits your specific permissions and can only do what you are authorized to do. No more, no less. All right, theory is great and all, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's walk through a classic everyday IT problem to see how this agentic approach completely changes the game. Okay, check this out. This comparison shows the difference perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way. The user asks why a job failed. The bot correctly IDs the error and gives the user a SQL command to run. I mean, that's helpful, but it's just more work for the user, right? Now, look at the right. The user asks the exact same question. The agent not only finds the error, but it also proposes a complete solution and just asks for permission to execute it. The user simply says yes, and the agent goes off, fixes the database, and even restarts the job. And the end result? Well, it says it all. In the first scenario, the user got an answer. In the second one, the user got a resolution. The problem was actually solved, from start to finish, by the agent. That is the incredible power of this new approach. Now, to make all of this really work, especially in a big company, there's another really critical piece to this puzzle. It's not just about having a smart agent, it's about where that agent lives and operates. This is such a key insight. You really have to remember this. An agent can't solve a problem if it can't see the data clearly and, more importantly, quickly. If your AI agent is in one cloud and all your data is sitting in another, you're going to have a bad time. And this brings us to a really important concept known as data gravity. So data gravity is this idea that data has a metaphorical mass. As your data sets get bigger and bigger, they become harder, slower, and way more expensive to move around. So the logical solution then is to bring the computation, in our case the AI agent, as close to the data as possible, not the other way around. When you put your agent right next to your enterprise data, the benefits are just huge. First, you get rid of all that network lag from moving tons of data back and forth. You seriously reduce security risks because your sensitive data never has to leave its secure home. And maybe most importantly, the agent gets to act on live, fresh, real-time data, not some stale copy from hours ago.
So, let's kind of bring this all together. The era of just chatting with our data is coming to a close. We are now entering a brand new wave, where AI is finally transitioning from a passive content creator to an active problem solver.
And this is really the final question to think about. As you're planning for the future, is your AI strategy focused on building slightly better chatbots, or is it focused on building autonomous coworkers? Are you still trying to solve last year's problems, or are you building for this new reality of what's actually possible? Because ultimately, that's the bottom line here. The true value, the real transformation, it's not going to come from AI that can just talk a good game. It's going to come from agents that can truly act.